You're watching NappyCast by Jason Nappy Weather. It is hotter in Maine than it is Arizona right now. Look at Arizona temperatures there in the 60s, 68 degrees north of Phoenix, Flagstaff, 58. But up in the Northeast and New England, widespread 80s and 90s right now. So all the heat coming up from the south and the west here. Big ridge of high pressure. You see that right here. There's your H. There's all the heat building up from the south. Here's your cool air or cooler down behind the cold front through the heartland where you've got showers and thunderstorms, clouds and showers pushing south, right? So it is on the much cooler side to the west where it typically isn't this time of the year. Typically the plains are well in the 80s. And then out to the Pacific Northwest, you've got a big ridge right here keeping the Pacific Northwest cool off the Pacific Ocean, right? And that ridge has been around there for quite some time here. So we got a lot to talk about here in the forecast in the next few days. Take a look at the fronts that are moving through the weather makers on the weather highway. You've got this front right here that's taking a long time to move through the Northeast. It will continue to do so. It's not moving very quickly, obviously, so there will be showers and thunderstorms, which I'll show very soon. There's your front. Here's that front here. Area of low pressure pushing some severe weather towards Texas, Oklahoma, New Mexico. That's pushing east too. So things are active, not overly severe, but you definitely have cloud cover around mixed with some sunshine. Here's a little feature here pulling some moisture. This is the system that was right over Florida and Georgia, Carolina for a few days. Here's your front. Okay, this is the one right through the Ohio Valley. And then here's your ridge out here pumping in heat from the south into the Northeast, into New England, okay? And here's your next system right over the panhandle of Oklahoma, back towards Texas, and that's pushing towards the plains and eventually through the Mississippi River Valley. It'll be pushing west to east here. So let's look at water vapor imagery. I want to show you the satellite picture, show you where you have the moisture. Right now, thunderstorms firing up western Maine, the central Maine highlands, but there's still some dry air in the mid-levels of the atmosphere here, so it's not going to make it to the coastline. Also, you have the sea breeze. And then out west here, you've got a little swirl going on down here, right over, looks like very close to the Yucatan Peninsula. Okay, so there's a lot going on, but there are no big, weather systems. Nothing gigantic, nothing overly significant. It is on the fairly typical side, except the temperatures being as cool as they are. So, Storm Prediction Center wise, you have a level 1 and 2 threat here in the mid-Atlantic New England. No tornado threat here. There's not enough spin in the atmosphere for this. It's plenty humid enough, but not enough spin. But there is a threat for tornadoes here, back towards Texas, New Mexico. Okay, there's a threat there at Oklahoma. Could see a few spin-ups, but not in the east and in the northeast here. So we'll look at the atmosphere and the energy coming along the weather highway, about 25,000 feet up in the sky. Watch what happens Sunday into Monday. Big upper level trough dips in here. Now this one's not going to make it all the way east, but it is going to drag a front through. And as it drags this front through, it is going to cool things down. So this one doesn't have a lot of fanfare with it as far as precipitation and super cold air, but it's going to drive a cold front through the Northeast. Middle of next week, there will be a few showers around. And then late next week, into next weekend, into the July 16th time frame, you've got a pretty good sized ridge coming into this atmosphere here, okay? That's going to mean things start to heat up in a big way around that ridge. Look at this trough coming in towards the Pacific Northwest, okay, back towards Montana. So that one's coming through. This is once again the following week, but I want to show you that trough in more detail. This is the trough, the big trough that's coming through. So this is going to cool things down. It's going to drag that front through, okay, and cool things down. But look at the big ridge and then another ridge. So this is going to heat up over toward desert Southwest, Pacific Northwest. They are going to cook. It is going to be hot there. But where it's not going to be hot, you see here with the trough, big time trough is going to bring that cold front all the way down to the Gulf Coast. Look at the Florida Panhandle getting in the blue there. So temperature is cooler than the typical numbers there. Now let's focus a bit on New England into the short term. There will be showers and thunderstorms, especially inland, western mountains, the western foothills here into Maine. There will be some downpours. This is going to be Friday night into Saturday as that system, a little piece of energy, starts to move along the weather highway. So Saturday, close to a washout. Then we clear out a couple of days, but then on Monday we get grazed by a system down east Maine. Another couple of showers comes through Tuesday, Wednesday. That's the front I showed you from the Ohio River Valley and over towards the Great Lakes. Okay, so there will be more coming our way. Now, taking a look at the satellite picture for visible right now, the shower thunderstorm activity is here. Central Maine, north of Augusta, up the Penobscot, okay, up towards the county. This is where you've got those cumulonimbus showers, thunderstorms firing up. I'll bring up radar in a second. But here, way back here is where you've got the actual front, right? So it's going to take time for this cooler air to sink south. Notice this is not really moving that far to the southeast just yet. So if you're sweating it out in the humidity, it's going to be a little bit while longer. Now, looking at the radar, here's that front, okay, just trying to make its way through the county. Okay, let me switch this over to different colors so we can see this here. There's the front, okay. It's just moving it through the Boundary Plateau and the county in Maine. Here are your showers and thunderstorms that are pushing through right now. Those right now are going to be pretty scattered. There will be downpours. There will be lightning, some gusty wind. Not much, but maybe some small hail. But you see here Milo, Brownville, over towards Lincoln. You head up 95. Okay, so there's definitely going to be showers, thunderstorms, interior down east in Maine, but right now the coastline is all clear. This is not going to make it that far to the south. I'll bring up the radar out of Gray, Maine to show you this. So there's nothing going on in southern Maine. Carrabassett Valley has a couple, but it's really, the activity is up towards Milo. Up in the county, you see up around northwest of Caribou, New Sweden, you've got showers, thunderstorms approaching just south of Holden, Hodgson, Cary, Oakfield, Island Falls, Patton. So those places are getting showers and a few thunderstorms right now. So let's transition things over now to my loyal followers in Maine. We can go ahead and show some sky cameras and show how clear it is. Portland, Lewis, and Auburn, we're cooking temperatures well 80s and 90s, 80s mountains. We're going to cool off a little bit tomorrow into the weekend, 60s and 70s. And next week, there will be some on and off showers, but no all-day washouts in the forecast next week either. So here we go. Inland, 90s easily today, breaking a few records. 84 tomorrow, and then 60s and 70s for the weekend. The heaviest rain will be Saturday, just a few showers Sunday, not a lot. And then into next week, 60s, 70s, and then right back in the 80s when that ridge comes in from the west, the ridge that I showed you from the big ridge that comes in right around. We'll talk about, after that trough and that cold front gets through Tuesday, Wednesday. We warm up very quickly. So the coastline, I have PM thunderstorms in there, but most of this is going to be down east and not a lot of it makes it. Now, tomorrow, the southern coast will get into some showers and a few thunderstorms for sure. Around a level 1 threat, some downpours, some hail, some gusty wind, no tornadoes expected right now for today in any part of Maine, okay? We'll talk about tomorrow, one day at a time. And then next week, we've got temperature 60s, 70s, and 80s. So we're very much into the summer pattern when the forecast rolls around next week.